Welcome to another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, coming to you 6 days a week as we interview whitetail experts and hear their traditions and personal stories of the hunt. Learn more about the latest gear, discover proven tips, and the latest strategies so you can make your next hunt a success. Now, here's your host, Bruce Hutchin.
Welcome to a very special episode of Whitetail Rendezvous. Why is it special? Because Hunt of a Lifetime is a special group of people that do one thing. They take children under the age of 21 hunting, fishing, or to fulfill a dream that they have in the outdoors. And I have Vicky Lauer, who's been with Hunt of a Lifetime for over 17 years. And guess what, folks? She doesn't hunt, but she sure as heck cares about kids. Vicky, welcome to the show, and I'm interested to hear why you got involved in Hunt of a Lifetime and why you've been with it for 17 years. My goodness, gal, that's quite a commitment.
Well, thank you so much for having us on the show. Yeah, Hunt of a Lifetime is very special to me. My nephew was diagnosed with muscular dystrophy several years ago, and it kind of brings life into reality. And you sit back and you wonder, what are people going to remember you for? What is your meaning in life going to be? And when we came across Hunt of a Lifetime, my previous husband and I actually wanted to set up a 3D shoot for our club. And we had to decide who would benefit from that actual event. And Hunt of a Lifetime was the organization that we chose. And we couldn't go wrong with that, helping kids. And once you meet these kids, they leave an imprint on your life that you will never forget. And I was pretty much hooked right from there.
So you had a situation in your own family. And
yes.
So how did you find out about Hunt of a Lifetime?
We actually looked on their website. It's www.huntofalifetime.org. We reached out to Tina Pattison. The club did, found out how we could help her or help the organization. And then we set up the 3D shoot. I mean, it's one of the simplest ways to help the organization is if you have a club or you have an organization, you can set up your own event to help the organization. And that's exactly what we did. All the proceeds went to help the kids, and that's the great thing about Hunt of a Lifetime. We're volunteers. We're not paid to go out and work these events. We spend hours and hours just educating and raising donations at different events. And the education is one of the biggest things. There's still a lot of people that don't know we're out there and what we do. So it's great to be able to reach out and educate on Hunt of a Lifetime.
Now, are you up on social media?
We are on social media. We're from Eastern Pennsylvania. You can go to the National Hunt of a Lifetime Facebook page. And that's under a Hunt of a Lifetime page, or you can go to the Hunt of a Lifetime Eastern Pennsylvania page.
Okay, or the website.
Or the website, absolutely, www.huntofalifetime.org.
Now, do you take kids out hunting, or your main thrust is hosting the 3-day shoot and then giving all the proceeds over to Hunt of a Lifetime?
Yes, and we actually set up at various events too. One of our largest events here in Pennsylvania is the Great American Outdoor Show up at the Harrisburg Farm Show Arena. We set up a booth every year up there. We have some of our kids come in, and it's really great to have the kids meet everybody that comes by the booth. We have some amazing kids, great personalities. They've been dealt a really tough hand in life. And when you meet these kids, they are some of the happiest, most grateful kids you'd ever want to meet. They just amaze me every day.
Yeah, it's something I've had last evening with Tina and Jim and Chris Gilbert, and I've had a couple other people, I think Pat Baird and then Blaine, across the country. And to a man and to a woman, the amount of dedication, commitment, and service just rings out because, as I understand it, that everything for the child and adult supervision is all paid for. It's 100% paid for. There's nothing that they have to do, and we'll talk about how to apply in a second, but they apply, get accepted, match the hunt up, and they go hunting.
Right, absolutely. That's one of the best things about this organization. There is no cost to the child. So you have these kids who are going through such a tough situation, And to have your parent along, I mean, people think that our organization they thank us for what we do for these kids. These kids do way more for us than we do for them. They have an impact on your life, from the outfitter that takes them out, to the people who volunteer and sign them up, to the person who does their mount for them. It's really impactful on everybody involved.
I also understand that you process the game
Yeah.
or mount the fish or replica of the fish is done for them. And it's just mind-boggling to me that nobody knows about you. Why do you think that is, that more people don't know about Hunt of a Lifetime?
Well, I think that, the hunting community is a very close-knit community, but there are people who don't hunt. I'm a prime example. You don't have to hunt to support these kids. I started this because I was a 3D shooter, and I have had many clubs get involved to raise funds for Hunt of a Lifetime who don't necessarily hunt. You don't have to hunt to know or support the organization. And some places, hunting can be ostracized, I guess. It's not everybody's cup of tea, but just because it's not your cup of tea doesn't mean it's not one kid's wish.
Want to become a smarter deer hunter? Know when to hunt, where to hunt, how to hunt? Well, Deer Hunting Institute Part 1 was created to do exactly that, because many people have told me they struggle with spending all days in the wood and never seeing a deer, only shooting does and young deer, leaving the woods empty-handed way too many times. Found this wonderful, but just couldn't get on them, having difficult finding a place to hunt, recognizing possible mistakes you're making every year, having tried and failed to find qualified mentors who deliver results. If you had these frustrations or struggles, go to deerhuntinginstitute.com, and there you'll find a 13-module course to help you solve these problems. Again, go to deerhuntinginstitute.com and find some answers. I've been reminded over and over again is, here's a kid that's up against it. They may be terminal or they're going to live, but their quality of life isn't going to be all that great. And so they come to you, Hunt of a Lifetime, and say, hey, here's what I want to do. Can you make it happen? And you guys just flat out make it happen. And it's just from boots, literally from the socks on their feet to the beanie on their head, they're covered.
Right. That's right. That's right. And if they don't have a firearm, we provide them a firearm. Their hunts are professionally guided. It's not like we just take a kid out in the woods and let him go. They've got a professional guide with them. And those guides work really, really hard to try to get what animal these kids want. Every year, I take a group of kids up to Letterkenny Army Depot. It's a depot up towards Chambersburg, Pennsylvania. And the depot opens up every year to host a few of our kids to hunt whitetail. They also get to hunt, if there's bear, they're able to harvest a bear if they have a tag. And then they also want you to get the coyote, because the coyotes are varmints. And the kids that go up there and are able to harvest a deer. Now, this is in addition to their larger hunt. This is a little something extra special for them. I had a young man a few years ago. He was able to harvest a buck, a doe, and a coyote all in one day. That's a heck of a hunt. And that's something that most hunters would never dream of. But in addition to hunting the depot, they get to hunt with wounded warriors, which is another impactful thing, is to see those kids interact with men who have served our country, men and women who have served our country. There's things that I've seen with this organization that are truly profound and have affected my life in the best way possible.
Let's camp on a little bit. After 17 plus years, let's talk about how it's changed you as a person.
Yep. At some point in your life, you sit back and, like I said, what do you want to be remembered for? I'm a grandmother. I want to be remembered as being the best grandmother or mother possible. But I also have kids that I look at as my own kids. And these, like Ryan and Douglas and Carson and Ariana and Wyatt and Gabe and Sam, these are kids that I have gotten to know. And Hunt of a Lifetime gives them an opportunity to forget for 5 to 7 days that they are sick, they're able to go out there, and they've been born and bred into hunting families. They're able to go out there. And to me, that I help to do that. I help to get them out on that hunt, be it whether I help them with their paperwork and got it off to corporate. I help to set up an event that helped them with their travel. That gives my life meaning. And it's a pretty amazing thing.
I would entirely agree, because one thing, and few times that I've been involved with mentoring kids in the outdoors, they get a big smile, but I've got a bigger smile because I see somebody that's all of a sudden the whole world is opened up to them that they really didn't know existed. Now we're talking about kids that have a dream to hunt a turkey or a hog. Or Tina said the first anaconda hunt is going to happen this winter someplace in Florida. That was a kid's dream. He wanted to hunt an anaconda. And so they're going to
I didn't even know about that one.
Yeah, she told me last night.
That's amazing.
And so it might be birds. It might be just catching crappie or bass. It doesn't really matter. It's their dream. And so because it's their dream,
right,
you guys are going to make it happen. And it's just an amazing commitment that is nationwide. How many ambassadors do you have throughout the country?
Oh, gosh, I couldn't give you a number, but we have ambassadors throughout the country. If you're interested, if say you're in a certain state and you go on our website, you're able to go in and find out where our ambassadors are and who you can contact.
Okay, so they can just go to www.huntofathelifetime.org, correct?
Correct.
And then look up how to get in touch or how to apply. Let's talk about that. If somebody, all they need to do is bring up the website, then where do they go to apply? Their children, a parent has to submit the application. So where do they go to do that?
There is a spot on our page where you can go and look for the application under forms.
Okay, go to website, go to forms, and then?
It's a youth application.
And that's it, huh?
It's that simple. It really is. Just make sure you complete the form, and then you send it off to our corporate offices, and we start looking for a hunt to send you on.
Now, Tina said that there's only a couple of people that receive any sort of pay at all for Hunt of a Lifetime. Is that correct?
There is. There's very few. And Tina would be best to give you that information about who they are.
But there's very few people. I mean, it's just a handful of people that get paid, and then everybody else is all volunteers. So every time you go to a show, every time you put on a 3D shoot, every time you're at the Harrisburg show, let's say, and spending the hours there, it's all for Hunt of a Lifetime.
Yes, that is all volunteers. All of us who go out, especially to the Harrisburg show, is a long, long show. So we spend a lot of hours in there, booth set up, the 3D shoots, there's block shoots. I have an organization down here that does a dog run. They have several people sign up to compete with their bird dogs, and they turn that money over to Hunt of a Lifetime.
So, folks, if you're listening, if you're involved in any type of conservation outdoor organization, call somebody and get a hold of Vicky and tell me more. I mean, because maybe you're not interested, but you know somebody that needs to be interested or has some funds that they want to dedicate. It's a 501c3 organization. Or say, wait a minute, I go hunting with Out West Outfitters in Colorado, and I want to make sure a kid can go out and hunt a deer, antelope, mule deer, antelope, or elk, and I'm going to make that happen. So a donation that way.
Right. We're always looking for outfitters. We're always looking for taxidermists. One thing that people can donate are air miles. If they have air miles that they're not going to use and want to donate, we'll take them. Anybody who wants to have any type of, we've had basket bingos that go on to support Hunt of a Lifetime.
I never thought of the air mile thing. Hey, Dan Hughes, are you here now?
I am here now.
Great. Well, folks, Dan Hughes is also an ambassador with Hunt of a Lifetime, has joined us on the show. And Dan, where do you hail from?
We actually from Lancaster, PA, but we actually recently moved up to Snowshoe, Pennsylvania.
And that's in the mountains, I understand.
That's in the mountains, yes.
Or the hills. I live in Colorado, so I can't really call them mountains. So, Dan, why are you involved with Hunt of a Lifetime? Tell the audience why you're involved with Hunt of a Lifetime.
The reason why me and my wife got started, we had a friend that wanted to do a pig roast to benefit Hunt of a Lifetime. Well, I'm way busy. So I figured, well, I'll cook the pigs for him because I cook pigs. Well, I met a young gentleman, and he's the sweetest little boy you ever wanted. And as of today, he's a good friend of mine. We've done 7 pig roasts. This year, we raised $21,000.
Oh, my goodness. That's fantastic.
So we do have another couple that's going to take over our outing event.
Do you want to become a smarter whitetail hunter, knowing when to hunt, where to hunt, how to hunt? Over the past 4 years, people have asked me, hey, I'm struggling with spending all day in the woods and never seeing a deer, only getting opportunities at doe or young bucks, leaving the woods empty-handed too many seasons. Located the deer of a lifetime, but just flat out missed. Having difficulties finding a place to hunt, recognizing mistakes that you're making over and over again, and you want to eliminate them. Having tried and failed to find qualified mentors. Well, you've come to the right place. Why? Because Deer Hunting Institute Part 1 was created by me, Bruce Hutchin. It's a 13-module course that'll talk about being lost in the deer hunting forest. Never hunted. What is a hunter? What is an adult onset hunter? What rules apply? Finding a mentor, choosing a weapon, finding a place to hunt, scouting a hunt location, stand sites, stand access and exit, reading sign, and when to hunt. All these are available for you at deerhuntinginstitute.com. Go now to deerhuntinginstitute.com and sign up for the best deer hunting course in America. What was the start of your involvement with Hunt of a Lifetime?
I actually roast pigs, and I was going to roast pigs. We'd do them all night, and in the morning I was going to pick out the pigs and go home. I actually wasn't going to be involved. And then I met some of the children, and they're just awesome kids. Awesome kids.
So you just had to say, okay, I got to do it. How many years have you been involved, Dan?
This is our 7th year.
Good for you. Thank you, sir. On behalf of hundreds of kids that you've served, that's just amazing what you guys and gals do.
We do as much as we can do, me and my wife. We do all the saltwater shows, the fish shows, the hunting shows. We do the Great American Outdoor Show at Harris. So we'll be there for 9 days again.
Well, these kids are like our family. Because after you get to know them and our local kids, they come out to them at every event that we do. And they become our family. They support us. And they support us.
It's just a joy. It's a joy to help go hunting and fishing and live out their dreams. I mean, we will probably never quit.
So what's the biggest challenge that you have, either getting kids to go on hunts or getting donations or support?
Our biggest challenge is finding kids. We try our best to let everybody know we're going to be in New Jersey or New York or at the college, or so the kids can come out and sign up.
So finding kids,
finding kids, getting out there, talking to people. I mean, we get a lot of support. We get a lot of support from the hunting community. We really do. And the fishing community. The saltwater shows, the guys are awesome. They give us a lot of donations for our outing event. I mean, the outfitters in Harrisburg, I can't thank them enough. They do a great job with our kids.
Vicky, do you work closely with Dan, or are you pretty far apart?
I work very closely with Dan. Yeah, Dan and his wife, Marge. Marge is also heavily involved. I've worked with them probably all 7 years that they've been with the organization.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we love Vicky. We actually started under Vicky as volunteers, and then we became committee members under Vicky.
And we blossomed.
And I was the Eastern Pennsylvania ambassador, and I stepped down because I wanted to spend more time with my family, but I can't leave this organization. It just means too much to me. And this year, Dan and Marge have taken over as ambassadors for Eastern Pennsylvania.
So they're the central contact person. So Dan, if somebody wants to say, wait a minute, I know somebody in PA that wants to go on a hunt or a fishing trip, how do they get a hold of you?
They can call me. They can look on our website. We have a Facebook page. It's Eastern Pennsylvania Hunt of a Lifetime. They can look us up there. They can message me. They can call me.
They can actually get the number off the website.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm allowed to give my phone number, but
yeah, I'd rather not. Just tell them to go to your website, and we'll do it that way.
Eastern Pennsylvania Hunt of a Lifetime.
Okay, Hunt of a Lifetime, Eastern Pennsylvania on Facebook. Is that correct?
Yes, and just message me there. I'll get back to them as soon as. I actually retired this year, so I got plenty of time.
So, Dan, share with the listeners a story that made you smile and made you cry.
You knew I was going to say Tammy, didn't you, Vicky?
Yes, I did.
Tammy is just this wonderful kid. And Hunt of a Lifetime had sent him to Lower Peninsula of Michigan for a bear hunt. Well, Sammy didn't get his bear. So the last time we were going to Harrisburg last year, he came in and you could hear him. You could hear him 75 yards away yelling that he caught 42 northern pike.
Oh my
He
goodness.
never once. Dan, I didn't get a bear. He was so excited, so happy just to get to go fishing and catch fish. And he is a wonderful kid. Just a blessing for all of us. And
Yep. And we have Carson. Carson met us at the outdoor show, and he wanted a red stag so bad. And we were able to take him to meet Grant Fritz, who is probably all of our mentors. He's been with the organization since it started. And he was able to take Carson down to actually meet an outfitter from New Zealand. And the outfitter was so touched by Carson that they told Grant, we want him. We want him to come out with us. And within a few months, he was boarding a plane to New Zealand
Oh my goodness.
and was able to get his red stag.
We actually invited the family.
yes, and the family actually come to me and Marge's wedding 2 years ago.
Yep.
From the
So
Red
it's-
Stag
it's-
people or Carson's
Yep.
family?
Carson's family is amazing. You not only meet the kids, but you meet the families and the trials and tribulations that they've been through. I mean, it's when you have a child and you don't know what the next step is or what's going to happen in their lives. When you're able to give them something that they've always dreamed of. I mean, let's face it, not every kid wants to go to Disney World. These kids were born into families that hunt. And to have an organization to say, I'm going to take you out hunting and I'm going to get you the animal that you've always dreamed of is huge. And it's really life impacting, not only to the children, but to the families.
But even the Parquet boys.
Yes.
Parquet comes to every event we have.
Yes, we have so many good families that are with us the whole way. I mean, they were so sad we weren't going to do the outing anymore. But we moved 2.5 hours away from Vicky, so it's kind of hard to do that. Because we do our outing, it's all year long. We get donations. We have over 300 Chinese auction prizes that we raffle off. I mean, it's all year that we do that. My wife and her friend does that.
So Dan
all year
and
long.
Dan and Marge, Hunt of a Lifetime changed you personally.
I guess with me, every time I see a child, I ask the family, I say, I'm not trying to pry into their personal business, but I ask them what's wrong with their child and find out, and then I tell them about Hunt of a Lifetime. And I tell them they don't have to tell me what's wrong with their child because of HIPAA policies and stuff
Sure.
like that. But a lot of them do. And they proceed to tell me, and then I tell them about Hunt of a Lifetime, and they think it's amazing, and then they sign their child up. I get them the paperwork, and I mean, I love it. I've been doing it for 7 years with my husband. I love raising money for them. I love going to shows, and every child I meet is a different experience.
And I think for me is I grew up hunting. I grew up on a farm, Lancaster County. I grew up deer hunting. I grew up pheasant hunting. My whole life I've hunted. And now I hunt very little. But I'm telling you, I would drive to New York City just to find a child that I could send hunting, that wanted to go on a hunting or fishing trip.
Because we can do it.
Because I can. I mean, right now I have deer in the yard. I would rather find a child that would go hunt and do it myself. Because I've been blessed. I've hunted with my dad and 2 brothers all my life. My children hunt. My 2 girls hunt. So our deal is, I think, is we can find another child. We just got to go look. And we do. We go look. And we find.
They find you, I think, after listening
I
to
hope so.
4 different people.
I hope so.
The right in the universe brings them to you. You could say God brings them to you, but I
Yeah.
just think children that are supposed to find you guys because you're unique. You really are. There's a lot of organizations out there that do similar type work, but you're, after talking to over 6 different people and interviewing over 6 different people, it's just different. I don't know how else to say it because it extends just from a child reaching out to you guys. All of a sudden, as you talked about Carson, his family and going to the wedding and different things like that. It's like all of a sudden they just become family, and just because they go on a hunt and they're not processed through the system and then next, that doesn't happen with Hunt of a Lifetime. That's my 2 cents. That's my 2 cents, and that's my opinion, folks. Hey, thanks for listening to the show tonight. Before we go, can I take a moment and say thank you? Listen, as we started the Whitetail Rendezvous podcast journey, we had no idea what to expect. But after 4 years, we received a ton of feedback from our over 400,000 listeners and climbing to 500,000. Speaking of which, we are now closing in on over 600 featured guests. Thank you. And a quick shout out to all those who have left an iTunes review and your feedback. I get those and really appreciate it. And it's awesome to see what you have to say, and we do read every single one of them. And I just want you to know that I am incredibly grateful for your kind words regarding the show. And all of the ratings and reviews help us attract more listeners. And if you're one of those new listeners, welcome. Great to have you. By the way, if you haven't taken the time to rate and review our show and like the Hunting on Private Land strategy on how to get permission to hunt a private property, go to whitetailrendezvous.com as a special gift for just rating and reviewing our show. When you get there, look for the start button to get the details. Listen, I'll share you the top technique from some of the top hunters in the country on how do they get permission to hunt on private land. I'll share with you the exact techniques they use to get permission. As my way of saying thanks for rating and reviewing the show on iTunes. So join us next time. And remember, we're all on this journey together, learning, sharing, and becoming 365 hunters. So Vicky, your thoughts?
It takes me back. In this organization, you can't be a wallflower. You have to be willing to, I scour Facebook, people's pages when they have a sick child. You can't be afraid. One of my favorite moments came from when I saw a young man named Ryan on Facebook, and he was in a town next to me. I saw his post from his dad, and I reached out to his dad, and I said, I would love to meet Ryan. Would he like to go on a hunt? I would love to talk to you about it. So I had a 3D shoot in the same town where he lived, and I said, come on over and let's talk about what we can do for Ryan. So his dad brought him over, and Ryan had a brain tumor. He was very sick when we first met him. He had been going through treatments. He had lost his hair. He was very visually, his vision was very impacted. And this little boy came to this event, and we got to sit down and talk to him, and he couldn't decide on which animal he wanted. Did he want a moose, or did he want an elk? But then he finally set his sights on an elk. He wanted to go for an elk. And we sent him, he was not, because of his vision, the way his vision was impacted, we wouldn't have been able to send him out on your standard hunt. So we were able to work with get him in a fenced hunt so that he was able to get his elk. And I'll just never forget the day that he came to fill out his paperwork. It was hot, and he was going through active chemo treatments, and he was really sick, and it was a hot day in August, and we walked outside, and I had given him his paperwork and talked a little bit about what we would be able to do for him. And we walked outside for a little bit, and we watched some of the activities, and the guys were doing some long shots, and he came down there with me, and he tugged on his dad's jacket, and he said, I'm ready to go, Dad. He went to go get back in his car, and I'm watching him walk to his car, and he stops, and he turns around, and he came back, and he gave me the biggest hug, and I was just floored. This child who didn't know me but knew we were going to do something for him. And Marge can tell you I'm a very emotional person.
Ryan.
So, it brings you to tears, the gratefulness of the kids and the family. And we were able to send him out on that hunt, and he got a super nice elk, and the family ate that meat for a year. And the mount that he got a beautiful mount, a pedestal mount, and we had that up at the outdoor show. These kids deserve what we give them and so much more.
There's a bad part though too. There is a bad part.
Well, folks, we're going to need to wrap this up. We just got a couple of minutes. So final thoughts, Dan and Marge?
Hopefully the Lord keeps bringing the kids to us, because we need to get them out there hunting and fishing. And we love what we do. We enjoy it. We love it. We will keep doing it for as long as we can.
Marge?
Yeah, we love kids, and we want them to keep coming and find us. And We're a lot of places, and get a hold of us. We'll send you hunting or fishing, whatever you choose.
Vicky, why don't you wrap it up?
And the reality is that we do lose some of our kids. This year we lost 2 that I personally worked with. One was Wyatt and the other was Ariana. But the best part about it was that we were allowed to give them, and they were allowed to experience a hunt of a lifetime. Wyatt was able to go to Maine and harvest a moose. And Ariana was able to go to Idaho and harvest the turkey that she always dreamed of. So that's what it is. That's what it is for me, and I think for every volunteer with Hunt of a Lifetime, is just being able to see the joy and have those children have that time to forget about being sick and actually go out and enjoy something that they love to do.
Well, guys, on behalf of hundreds of thousands of people that have listened to Whitetail Rendezvous, and myself personally, thank you so much for making a difference in children's lives, where sometimes they don't see that anything's ever going to happen for them. That's good. You guys are doing incredible work, so keep it up. And with that, I'm going to say good night on behalf of Whitetail Rendezvous.
And good night. Thank you very much for what you do.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to tune in tomorrow for another episode of Whitetail Rendezvous, where you can listen and learn from the experts so you can be more successful on your next hunt. Until next time, listen, learn, and succeed.